What's up, guys? It's the ALE Double X Prince here, continuing a retro review series for the Royal Rumble, and this time I'm gonna be talking about a Royal Rumble that was gonna change the way we see the Royal Rumble and continue this tradition, but because it was overly long and overly stuffed, it kind of flopped. And I'm talking about Royal Rumble 2011. Before I talk about the Royal Rumble, I gotta talk about the entire show, but of course. Let me first off say that I am really happy that you guys supported me in my review of Split. Just like M. Night Shyamalan came back with that movie, I came back with that movie. And I thank all you guys for supporting that review and just being really supportive about it. And yeah, I really appreciate that, you guys. And as long as we keep that trend going, I will make it to shit ton of subscribers. And all thanks to you guys. Thank you guys very much. Yeah, it's something I just gotta say and get off my mind. And here are my notes for the Royal Rumble 2011. Yeah, of course. Let me just take my glasses off so I can read my notes. But we kick off the match with the show with Dolph Ziggler versus Edge for the World Heavyweight Championship, and this is the match of the night. Really good storytelling. First of all, it was a pretty decent mid card match. Build. I like the build of this match. I thought it was really good. I like how it was basically Dolph's. It was basically kind of passing the torch, and around this time, you believed that Dolph Ziggler was gonna be a big star, which did happen. But of course, a lot of stuff got really ruined for Dolph Ziggler for whatever the reason was. But this was a really good match. Yeah, because back then, Edge used to date Vicky Guerrero. Now it's Dolph Ziggler dating Vicky Guerrero. So it's like kind of passing the torch kind of moment. And at the time, Teddy Long wasn't around because he got attacked or injured of some sort. I forgot how. But I remember that this build-up was really nice. And I was like, this match could be decent. I wasn't at the time the biggest Dolph Ziggler fan. But after this match, I became a really huge Dolph Ziggler fan. And it was a good match. They had the stipulation where the spear wasn't available, like you could not do the spear, otherwise Edge loses the championship. But Vicky Guerrero gets attacked by Kelly in the show in this match, and then the referee gets distracted, and then Edge hits the spear. But because he doesn't want to do that, he gives tribute to Christian with the kill switch, and that's how Edge ends up winning the match. Really good match. I enjoyed it. I knew Edge was going to win. I don't think Dolph Ziggler was quite yet ready for the World Heavyweight Championship. But yes, I thought this was a really good match. Again, the match of the night for me personally. Yeah, it was a really fun match. And a really good story going into it. Next, we get Miz versus Randy Orton. For most of the match, it was just Randy Orton all offense, Miz just getting his ass beat. But at the time, Miz was so over with me in 2011, just like he is right now in 2017. So this is like the Miz that I always liked. And at the time, he had Alex Riley on his side. So, it was kind of hard to have a great match with the Miz because Alex Riley kept interfering in these matches. But this time, the problem wasn't Alex Riley. The problem here was the new Nexus. Yes. After having this long feud with the Core and John Cena, the Nexus decided, let's invade the WWE Championship match. Maybe if they wanted to send a message that he is after the WWE Championship, but the fact that, it was obviously just going to lead to CM Punk versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania, which could have been a classic, but it was kind of sloppy. Yeah, I think the only thing affecting this match, this wasn't bad, it wasn't good either, but it was whatever. And yes, eventually that's how the Miz wins, because Randy Orton couldn't lose to the Miz clean. You just knew that wasn't gonna happen. Next we get originally we were gonna have Natalya versus Lay Cool, and let me just start off by saying that I hated Lay Cool. Layla and Michelle McCool. Layla was actually not that bad in the ring. She was okay. Michelle McCool, I hated her a lot. I don't care if she's married to The Undertaker or if she's dating The Undertaker. I don't know the story there, but I don't care about this chick. She's pretty lame, annoying. This is one of the at the time, 2010, these two girls were fucking annoying, and seeing them live was even worse when I saw them live. And it was just fucking terrible. I'm not saying I went to the show. Obviously, I didn't go to the show. This took place in Boston, Massachusetts. I think I couldn't be there when I'm in San Diego, California. I was at home watching this shit. But originally, like I said, I'm not even talking about the match yet. But the original match was Natalya versus Lay Cool. But the Raw GM didn't want the anonymous Raw GM. Remember that fucking computer that turned out to be Hornswoggle? Yeah. He decided to make it a fatal four-way between Natalya, Michelle McCool, Layla, and Eve. Eve just came out of nowhere. They wanted 2 Raw Divas and 2 SmackDown Divas. Eve wins in a pretty sloppy ass match. It could have been a really good match, you know, if they actually took the Divas division serious at the time. But, you know, eventually we went past the Divas division and became women wrestlers. So, yeah, terrible match. Worst match of the show. Eve wins. Okay, whatevs. But next week, I want to talk about the Royal Rumble. You know, it was always 30 men. Well, the first Royal Rumble was 20 men, but then they moved it to 30 men, which make it more popular. But somehow, some way, they decided, let's make it 40 men, and then see how this goes down. And keep in mind, The Miz is the reason why this is 40 men, because John Cena was going to win. Then Miz was like, you know what? If you think you're such a talent, John Cena, why don't you try to win the Royal Rumble with only 40 guys? So, and I was like, okay, 40 guys to see what happened. And I forgot, in 2011, the amount of talent in WWE was terrible. I mean, we had like a lot of jobbers in this match. We had Zack Ryder, William Regal, Yoshitatsu, JTG, Chris Masters, Tyler Rex, you know, a bunch of jobbers. And really, for the most part, okay, let me just start off by saying that the main feud going into this was John Cena versus the Nexus versus the Core. And honestly, if CM Punk or Wade Barrett won, that was the guaranteed winners that should have won this match. Instead, we get somebody else wins the match. That just kind of pissed me off. But let me just start off by saying that the first 2 entrants in this Royal Rumble were good. And that being Daniel Bryan and CM Punk. First of all, the Core and the Nexus fight for a while, and then the GM tells everybody to leave, otherwise they all get kicked out of the Royal Rumble, which is stupid because the Core are SmackDown guys, so really the Raw GM can't control SmackDown guys. Also, if they get rid of the Core and the Nexus, who the hell are they gonna put in? Like a bunch of referees walking in back and forth? That was just stupid. It was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But anyways, it kicks off with Daniel Bryan and Justin Gabriel. Daniel Bryan and CM Punk, my bad. Then Justin Gabriel comes in. Then, you know, it gets to a whole... we had a bunch of jobbers coming in here and there. And sadly enough, some of these jobbers could have been potential big stars. First of all, Ted DiBiase. Yes, the $1 Million Man's son. The, you know... 1/3 of Legacy. This guy was the man. I actually liked this guy a lot in the ring. He was fucking awesome. He wasn't even at WrestleMania 27, which sucks. I mean, he wasn't... The last and only WrestleMania he's ever been part of was, well, WrestleMania 26. It's good seeing him, but, you know, it just kind of sucked up for him. I really feel bad for the guy. John Morrison, he was in the match. He gets, so before John Morrison was gonna leave WWE or his contract expired or whatever, you know, he was gonna be the guy who like did all these moves to survive the Royal Rumble. Like he falls on the crowd and then he jumps on the steps, you know, and then he left. So eventually Kofi Kingston ended up being the guy who ended up doing all these moves. So by the time John Morrison was gonna be the guy to do it. It gets okay. The Royal Rumble's filling up, and then the Nexus just tear down the house because in the ring we have all of the Nexus, and then slowly they get rid of every single wrestler coming up. Eventually, the Great Khali eliminates Husky Harris, aka Bray Wyatt. But then Mason Ryan, who in the beginning I thought it was Batista, but no, Mason Ryan comes in and eliminates Great Khali, and then Booker T makes his return to the ring, and it was a really good moment to see him come back, but eventually gets eliminated. And this is the part where it pissed me the fuck off. Super John Cena comes in at number 22, gets rid of everybody one by one by one. They couldn't at least keep at least like 2, maybe 3 guys helping John Cena to beat him, but no, they had to make John Cena look like Superman and eliminate everybody. And the only person who helped John Cena was number 23, Hornswoggle. Yes, this fucking guy, midget, helps. First of all, no, nothing against midgets. My apologies for saying that, but anyways, little people, whatever you want to say. Hornswoggle and John Cena team up to take on all the Nexus, and then eventually they eliminate Tyson Kidd and Heath Slater. Kofi Kingston, they fight for a while instead of actually trying to eliminate each other. It gets to a point where Sheamus comes in at the time he was King Sheamus. He eliminates Hornswoggle, thankfully. That was just stupid. And that's why this Royal Rumble failed for the most part, because there was too many stars in this Royal Rumble match. It's in the beginning it sounded like a great idea, but when you don't have any stars and you don't have NXT at the time, it's really kind of hard to make 40 men be believably good. But they got to the point that they had to bring back Dolph Ziggler and Randy Orton, 2 guys who previously had championship matches in the show, to come in the show. Diesel, Diesel came in. Kevin Nash comes in, gets eliminated real quick by who the hell eliminates him? I don't even remember who eliminated him. I think it was I have no idea who the hell got rid of him. And then by the end of it, we get to all 40 guys. At the time, I just kind of want to rush through this, but we get to all the guys. And then Alex Riley, first of all, was in the Royal Rumble match. He gets eliminated by Kofi Kingston and John Cena, I believe. And then, but eventually he comes back to distract John Cena, and then Miz eliminates him, which led to Miz versus John Cena at WrestleMania, which, if I ever talk about WrestleMania 27, I got a lot of shit to say about that. But yeah, the final... Let's go with the final 3 that were in the Royal Rumble so far. The final 3 were Wade Barrett, Randy Orton, and Alberto Del Rio. I was happy because I was like, Wade Barrett better win this match. He could take on Edge, or if The Miz loses the championship, he could become a star there. This could have been the greatest moment for Wade Barrett's career, but nope. He does not win it. He gets eliminated by Randy Orton, and then Alberto Del Rio eliminates Randy Orton by distraction. And Alberto Del Rio wins. ... Not yet. Santino was never eliminated from the Royal Rumble match. I hated this moment. Santino I guess he got kicked or attacked when he came in, and he was just on the ground for the most part of the Royal Rumble match. But Santino was almost gonna win the Royal Rumble match. Keep that in mind. Santino was gonna almost win the Rumble match. Thankfully, he didn't. And then Alberto Del Rio becomes the Royal Rumble winner. Now I like Alberto Del Rio. I think he's a really good talent. Especially love him in the indie shows like Alberto El Patron and stuff like that. But I don't know. He wasn't ready. They pushed this guy too fast, too soon. And he was going in his first ever Royal Rumble match, and he wins the damn thing. Granted, he was number 38. But still, I mean, this is why stars don't get created, because you don't build them up. That's why I wanted Wade Barrett to win personally, because, I mean, he got screwed up so much in 2010 that 2011 should have been his year and not CM Punk's year, since after all, he was the one who took over the Nexus. We could have done so much better, but Alberto Del Rio, and then he doesn't even win at WrestleMania, so that's what made it worse for me. I don't hate this Royal Rumble match. I think it's an okay Royal Rumble match, but it does have a lot of problems now, the more you think about it. Overall, I think the show wasn't that great. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good either. I'll give it a 7 out of 10, mainly because Edge and Dolph Ziggler had a really good match, and the Royal Rumble was not that bad either. So yeah, that will be it for the review, the retro review. The next review for my final Royal Rumble review will actually be tonight, simply for the fact because Friday, tomorrow, I have a lot of stuff planned, also with finals, so I'm going to be really busy. So get in tune for my final Royal Rumble retro review tonight. If you guys are curious what it is, let's just say this next Royal Rumble that I'm gonna review and the final Royal Rumble that I'm gonna review is gonna be a show that changed my life, and just change everybody's life, I guess, as far as like the way that we see WWE now. And if you guys don't know what it is, you might find out sooner. Anyways, it's me, the ALE Prince. I love saying it. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And until then, I'm out.